You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. I hope you can watch this. I hope you can see this. We, folks, are under severe attack. It's been a long time coming, and it has been expected the whole way. And here we are. Gotten 2 strikes today, 3 videos removed. 2 on one channel already has 2 strikes. I guess they can't, they can't just destroy you while you're under suspension? Is that it? Anyways, they got us for medical misinformation and for harassing people. I mean, let me read it to you so you understand, folks, the language they use. And by the way, there is no appealing their strike. When they give it to you now, it's done. The content contained harassment or malicious insults, such as racial slurs. It's not limited to, or includes, but it's not limited to, stalking, threats, unwanted sexualization, and prolonged name-calling or malicious insults that target, get this, intrinsic attributes. And also, folks, everything these people have is based on their opinion, what they think is good or bad. Remember, they don't have the same English language we do. They don't. So unless you are on subscribestar.com, unless you are on the preparedmind.club as a premium paying member, you may lose all access to the Prepared Mind content. Now, going forward, I anticipate and expect Subscribestar to eliminate us and for the preparedmind.club to be destroyed by some hosting service or some malicious viral attack on our server. I'm expecting it, folks, because this is war. Have no doubts, make no mistake, we are engaged in an information war with these scumbags. And that just might be an insult. I don't think it's malicious, though. I have called the freaks, freaks. I have called the ding-dongs, ding-dongs. I've called the fruitcakes, fruitcakes, and the nut jobs, nut jobs. I don't think that's harassment, and I certainly don't think it's malicious. I think I'm calling a spade, but some might say calling a spade is a racial slur. Well, it's not. We're engaged in war right now, folks. Now, you have heard lately, and Senator Hawley of the United States Senate has been grilling Merrick Garland, Attorney General scumbag of the U.S. government. He is the Attorney General, grilling him for the FBI infiltrating the Catholic Church. And a lot of people have sat back and said, why are they infiltrating the Catholic Church? Why do they find about what are they doing trying to find out about people who have Catholic faith? I mean, literally, why do they have to go into the church and invade it? Can't they just stand outside the door, take pictures of people, and use the power of the FBI's computers to do facial recognition and identify people just by that? Why do they need to go into the church? What are they going to learn that they can't learn standing outside? Well, they may learn inside the church that what they're doing is wrong, and their support of the woke agenda, the trans agenda, the LGBTQ agenda, the BLM agenda, the Antifa agenda, their support of all those things by the FBI is morally wrong, sinful, evil, anti-American, and scummy. But they're doing it anyways. So, and that's really what it comes down to. I have an article here. The quote is, "Fuck Catholics." That's the quote. Now, a trans terrorist, folks. That's right, a trans terrorist. A terrorist who is also a trans. Just like the terrorist, mass murdering scumbag who killed children. How come I am being given strikes for criticizing that? That is what happened, and that is the person who did it. And it's easy to see the attributes of the murderer have aligned with an agenda by them to be murderers and terrorists. This trans terrorist vandalized a Catholic church, assaulted a church worker, and the Biden regime has offered a deal to them. Folks, the Catholics are being attacked by the FBI, the Attorney General, the United States government. And oh, isn't Biden a Catholic? Aren't we supposed to believe that? Same with Nancy Pants Pelosi, 90 Proof Nancy. Isn't she a Catholic? Yet both of them are in trouble with church because they love killing babies. I mean, abortion. And they love this trans crap, which is a sin. You know, and it's not so sinful to me just to be one, but I think it's sinful to wag your genitals in front of the planet, and especially children. And that's what they want. They want to punish you and me right here on YouTube, right here in social media land. They want to punish us, folks. If they can get to the club and destroy it, they will. If they can get to Subscribestar and destroy it, they will. Because they're a bunch of freaks, fools, cowards, and knaves. And that's all they've got, folks. That's the end of their power. That's all they can take. And I will never forgive or forget them. And God help them if there's trouble on the streets and I see them doing what they do. What do? They lure children into their, shall we say, dens. Whether that den is a public library, a school, or a bar where they have trans events and drag queen events for children, where they get naked and sexualize children and even wag their genitals in their face and have children touch them. They are a bunch of sick fucks. This video is exactly the satire they need and exactly the content that they can't stand. And that's why they're trying to destroy us, for exposing them because they expose themselves to children. The LGBTQ plus movement wants pornographic crap in school. The drag queens want their crap in school. And the trans people want their crap in school. And I oppose all of that. And I oppose it with the same, shall we say, ferocity that I expose and oppose communists, fascists, and Democrats. This is it, folks. This is where we're at. It's come down to this. After all these years, free speech is done. And they want to stop us. If you want this channel to continue, even if it's kicked completely off of YouTube, that's right. The Prepared Mind BC, John the Prepared Mind, and Prepared Mind John are on their way out the door. Right? 80,000 subscribers plus everyone who has been unsubscribed against their will, going to be gone forever. They want to destroy that because they're cowards and intellectual weaklings. They don't have an argument with me. They have an agenda against me. And they also have an agenda against you. So once again, I need all the support I can get to keep this network alive. But it's about to take one hell of a shot trying to kill us. Folks, understand when you're attacked, you either fight back or you're done. And if you fight back, you still might lose, but you go down fighting. But if you're not dead, you never quit. And you get back up. And you keep fighting. And that is my plan as of yet. That's my plan. But I am not selling them short on their desire to destroy us. I expect them to take us completely down, folks. And I expect the club and Subscribe Star to be destroyed one way or another by these freaks also, because of the systematic approach they've taken. It's someone who knows what is going on. They know what's going on. Yeah. Thank you, Jolene. She's monitoring them, giving several strikes, or rather, they've given us all the strikes they can, short of removing us. But they aren't giving, they haven't killed a channel yet. Don't know why they haven't killed the channel yet, but they're certainly interested in removing videos now. Very interesting. Now, get your questions down below because we're going to talk. I want to hear what you have to say. In Texas, in a town called Dimmitt, just under 20,000 cattle have been killed. There's an explosion at a dairy farm occurred, folks. An explosion that killed almost 20,000 cows. So the first question I asked is, where's the beef? Quite literally. Okay, thank you, Jolene. Yes, it is something new, removing content without giving a strike. Very fascinating. Now, Jolene, while I'm on the air live, no, shit, maybe I'm not. 1 second, are you? Okay, I've been on a lot of dairy farms in California. I've been on dairy farms that are run by Portuguese Americans and dairy farms run by Dutch Americans. And never have I seen anything which could create an explosion big enough to kill 20,000 cows. Okay. Never. I've seen propane tanks, but normal. I've seen diesel fuel and gasoline tanks, but those don't explode. And if you think about how many cows 20,000 is, well, that's covering acres and acres and acres and acres just to have them standing around in high density. So the question becomes, what blew up there? That's a mass casualty incident. And I'm going to ask, where's the beef? Give me more than just a news story. What the hell is happening? And I'm going to continue along that vein and mine this. Just what the fuck is happening? There's a story saying that President Trump had his executive privilege removed by Joe Biden, and that Joe Biden did this in an effort to cover up his own classified document criminal behavior and actions. Right? Now, let's see. The Gateway Pundit is covering this story. And they said that, earlier in the week, it was discovered that Biden was involved in the raid at Mar-a-Lago. And it was discovered that the executive privilege was removed. Since when is one president's executive privilege removed by another president? Right. President Trump had the Presidential Records Act in his favor, says attorney Mike Davis, and he said this on Fox News, which gives him the ability to take whatever documents he wanted, whether he unclassified them or not. Right? So Biden and Attorney General scumbag Garland wanted to raid his home. it's assumed that the documents that Trump had showed criminal acts by the Clintons, Obamas, Biden's, Department of Justice, and the FBI having to do with Russia and the collusion lie that was used. There is going to be a lot more hell to pay, folks, over this. The battles we're seeing are at the international level. We're seeing those play out with China, Russia, Europe, and the US government. The battles are being fought at our nation's level, up in Washington, D.C., with the deep state, the Democrats, and their, shall we say, cronies in big corporations. And we're seeing it down at the local level, the little people's level, where you and I operate. We're seeing the war take place on social media, in the schools, in our jobs, and in the stores that we shop in. Have no fear, folks. You will always have the ability to protect yourself and live. These people want you to think that they can take it all away. All they can do is declare war on you. That's it. They can't do any more than that with regard to your rights. They can kill me, but they cannot take my rights, period. Period. Now, understand there's a difference between killing you and taking your right to life, right? One's an act of war. The other is you forfeiting your life. I don't know, folks. Where do you stand on this? Now, in Akron, Ohio, right now, businesses are boarding up their windows because they believe that BLM and Antifa may destroy their city over the upcoming ruling in the Jayland Walker case. So could this happen again? Well, businesses are boarding up their windows. So what is going on? Right, who is Jayland Walker? We've seen quite a bit of activity, folks, from these people. June 27th, this is the story, folks. Jayland Walker. He was shot more than 40 times by police because he refused to stop. He started a car chase and allegedly was shooting at police officers from his vehicle. And it started violent protests. Police officers had bounties put out on them. And this is awful, right? So 8 policemen, I guess, are under trial, right? It's going to be a mess. The city of Akron has been preparing for the grand jury results since last summer. The most important part of our preparation, said Stephanie Marsh, a spokesperson for the city of Akron. The most important part has been building relationships with our community and establishing better lines of communication. Oh, you mean the way England did with Hitler? How'd that work out? If these people want to go nuts and go off the hook, it's going to happen. You can't stop shit from hitting the fan. You can just be prepared for it. And that is the word that I'm going to bring up here. You probably have never heard of Jayland Walker unless you live in Akron or Ohio in general. There's a problem, folks. Violence and rioting and destruction of property are not being done because of Jayland Walker. They're being done because people want to riot and throw a fit and believe that they're being abused. And believe, they're going to believe whatever they want, and they'll use that belief as an excuse for the behavior they carry out. The same way that people at the World Economic Forum, way up at the top, they have a belief system, and they use that as justification for the actions they're taking by feeding us or wanting to feed us bugs and wanting to destroy our meat, wanting to give us cars that run on mouse farts and take away your gasoline. Oh, yeah. The Biden administration is trying to get rid of gasoline automobiles. Oh, yeah. Bet on it. Count on it. They're creating what appears to be toxic waste, just destruction of the country. I mean, just to make the point, a truck was carrying toxic waste, infested soil, dirt, carrying it from East Palestine, Ohio, you know, where that huge train wreck was. Well, the truck has overturned and they've dumped the contents, the toxic contents of the truck all over the place, all over the highway. It's just more and more and more of the same. Is the world that grossly incompetent? Are we living in a complete and total idiocracy, not just the government, but the people also? I don't know what to say. You know, if I said it was a conspiracy theory, or if I said it's not a conspiracy theory, it doesn't matter. Fact of the matter is, train wrecks are occurring and toxic waste is being spilled and explosions are occurring and farms and animals are being killed in huge. The single largest chicken murder was what? Was it 50 million chickens? Or was it 50 million eggs? Whatever it was, the largest chicken farm in the United States was, you know, just destroyed months ago. And now we've had 20,000 dairy cows exploded on a farm. I don't know, folks. What I do know is there appears to be a concerted effort to destroy this country. Top tech firms are right now laying off thousands of Americans. And guess who they're replacing them with? People in foreign countries. That's right, folks. Big corporate tech. They're offshoring American jobs. It's a big FU to America. They develop systems in America. They develop an American client base. They develop American workers to find out what needs to be done and work, and then they just send it off to another country because they've got cheap labor there. The corporation still makes all their money, but we lose our jobs, and that's how this goes, folks. That's how this goes. Everything is in. The fix is in. The SHTF has hit the fan. Truly hit the fan, folks. I've got more, you know, but wait, there's more. Oh, by the way, in case you weren't aware, I want your comments down below, questions, thoughts about all topics. The CEO of FTX, that would be Sam Bankman-Fried. Sam Bank-Bitch-Fraud? Is that harassment? Is that malicious of me to call him that? Or is that a nickname and a satirical jab at someone who it fits? Anyways, on Sunday, Easter Sunday, the CEO, right, released its assessment of the lack of cyber, financial, and internal accounting controls. What the hell is going on? Is that stunning? Is it shocking? Is it surprising? I tell you, you know, I'm not exhausted. I'm just ready. I am completely ready for the bottom to fall out because it's to be expected. It's to be expected. Let me go with this. 56 entities within FTX. And FTX had billions and billions and tens of billions of dollars that people are investing in it. It's a very large corporation. And in Delaware bankruptcy court, right, they decided to, Bob Bishop, forensic investigator, showed that they don't know what the hell they're doing. They never knew what they were doing. It was a giant sham from the beginning. 11 different ways. And Bob Bishop, a forensic investigator, has detailed all of the different ways that people got screwed. Now, what's amazing to me is that they've got this out there. And there's FTX. It's on a shelf. It's right there. Everyone can look at it and pick it up and play with it. FTX, criminal enterprise. Throw that shit away. You could just as easily, folks, take JP Morgan Bank, which has been found guilty numerous times of spoofing, cheating, corrupt activity on the stock market. We know that they're garbage. Throw it away. You could bring out the federal government and look at it. if you can even get them to produce any accounting for what they're taking our money for and spending it on, you're going to find the same thing. Bad accounting, poor practices, corruption, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Unbelievable. On every level, folks, it has hit the fan. In Maryland, folks, the school district there, or a school district there, has taken parents and their right to opt out of school curriculum. They've taken that away from parents, and they've made LGBTQ themed books required reading. Forced, folks. They have forced indoctrination into the sick, twisted, perverted, freakish world. If you leave your children in school, you are dooming them. Remember just yesterday, I played the video and hopefully the sound came through of all those children banging on the floor. Let's go, Brandon. Right? Remember that? Chant after chant after chant at a Missouri wrestling tournament. Kids know. And if you leave your kids in those schools, then the odds of them getting hoodwinked, the odds of them being tricked, fooled, intimidated, and bullied into accepting this fucked up crap is greater and greater. Get your kids out of these schools, folks. If they've got any of this crap on the shelves, go to the school, take it off the shelf, take it to the school board, tell them to remove it. If they don't, remove the school board. If the school board doesn't get removed, if you can't remove the teacher and the content, get your fucking kid out of those schools. Period. It is time to stop supporting the beast. I cannot tell you to break the law, and I cannot tell you not to pay your taxes. But I can tell you, folks, we need to stop feeding the beast. We need to stop giving it children, and we need to stop giving it money. That's what's going on. You know, and all the way to the top, folks. Merrick Garland of the Attorney General's office, the Attorney General of the U.S., says that you as a parent are a domestic terrorist if you oppose their crap. Right? Senator Hawley said Merrick Garland was lying under oath about the FBI and Catholic churches. It's because they fear us, folks. That's why they're destroying this channel, not because of anything other than their fear of you becoming more knowledgeable, having more information, hearing more diverse opinions. You want diversity? Well, they say they want diversity. They don't want diversity. They want one voice, theirs. Everything else is bullshit that they say. They don't want diversity. They don't want diversity in any way. They don't want diversity as in men, women, and trans. All they want is trans. They don't want diversity in homosexual and heterosexual. They want only homosexuals. They don't want a diverse population of different genders. They want theirs, the non-binary gender of saying whatever the fuck it is that you say. I'm still waiting to meet one of these fucking people who pushes this shit in my face. Sadly, or gladly, I don't have to deal with them, but they're out there. Look at what they're doing, folks. They run Washington, D.C. Right? I've gotten this message in a lot of emails from Fuzzy and Cyberhana and Orlando and Mr. Skylight and everyone. Folks, they're failing. Anheuser-Busch has lost $3 billion already. And Dylan Mulvaney, the trans fruitcake who appeared on the beer can, is sniveling and bitching and moaning and blaming you and blaming me. And this is what he says: they don't understand me. Folks, you and I have no obligation to understand that person, nor give a fuck nor support them with a single penny. Who gives a shit about a fruitcake with mental illness who wants to express it through social media? Have all the fun you want, fruitcake. This is the woke persona, folks, of cultural death. They criticize life, right? And they criticize normality. And they want to destroy us. Literally, folks, we're under attack. This is war. This is SHTF. This is our country. The banks, the government, guns, food, fuel, energy, school, life, military. I think you get it, because we pound it every day and we say, listen, learn, think, and share the internet address. But what are they going to do? They're going to take the internet addresses down. Take it down. Let me give you another taste of what's coming. And ask yourself, are you prepared? At a Target, which is a kind of like a Walmart, Target, a security guard, folks, had to defend himself because a screaming, screeching, idiotic customer got in the guard's face because she was at the checkout line and she demanded reparations. That is to say, Target should give her all of her food for free, all of her stuff. She compared herself to Rosa Parks. She demanded a manager. And then she started to attack a guard, a security guard, who in defense of self punched this woman in the face and sat her ass in a chair. And the police showed up and they found the security guard had a right to protect himself. This is what's going to happen. Imagine, folks, the entitlement of all people out there, regardless of gender or color, age, race, doesn't matter. Imagine all of the Americans, the 50% who are entitled. Imagine what happens when there's no money at the bank. Will they be entitled? Whether they call it reparations or we have a need that must be filled by whoever has the ability to fill it. No money, no banks, no food, no gas. Imagine the sense of entitlement and panic and shock and terror these people are going to feel. If they come to your house and knock on the door, are you going to answer it? Are you going to talk to them? Do you think that reason will work? Do you think that cussing them out will work? Do you think that threatening them with a gun will work to make them go away? They're going to demand from everybody, folks, not just Target, not just Walmart, even though the Walmart stores I talked about this morning in Chicago that are being shut down were shut down because they lost tens of millions of dollars. A handful of stores, tens of millions of dollars because of theft. It's coming. Imagine how entitlement will manifest itself to you in your world. You might think that I should be really sad and morose or overly pissed off about what YouTube is doing to us all. 10 years almost. We're in our 10th year right now. In December, we will have celebrated 10 whole years, 10 entire years, talking about these topics and how it's all led to here. And they want to kill it, folks. It's their website, right? It's their channel or their app, if you want to call it an app. That's right. Belongs to them. They can screw us over and kill us all they want, right? Oh, there is that thing about tortuous interference. That is to say that there is an income stream attached to these YouTube channels, and that I think an argument could be made that it's a malicious attack against the network of Prepared Mind channels in an effort to silence us that's causing financial distress on our system of, shall we say, broadcasting. I think that that puts them in legal peril. But what do they fear from me, right? They're willing to go after the president of the United States, Donald Trump. and destroy him. There's no reason that they should be afraid of me, right? Jurists and grand juries, they can't wait to get Donald Trump and screw him over. And you bet that those grand juries are loaded with Democrats and anti-Trumpers and never-Trumpers and people with Trump derangement syndrome. It's incredible, folks, this war that we're under. Now, before I get to your questions, and we're going to be ready for your questions. Ooman, are we ready for the questions? I've got the big question mark on the John Ooman and Jolene signal. That's where I'm at. Tell me where I need to be, buddy. Anyways, this war on us is demonstrated not just in America, but all over the world. For example, in New Zealand, there we go. Thank you, Oliver. In New Zealand, Jacinda Ardern, she was their prime minister, their presidential type figure. I called her the liar in chief, horseface, right? She labeled cerveza bug lockdown deniers and opponents. She called them extremists. And now she has a new role fighting online extremism. She went to the UN and continued her lies. She's going all over the place, pushing more government truth. Folks, what government truth is actually government sanctioned lies. That is to say, government lies is what everyone's allowed to talk about. You're not allowed to argue with it or argue against it. You have to accept it. There's only one truth to the government, and that's its own agenda. Are you willing to accept that and live under that? Or do you think you should be free? Free up here to express yourself, to associate with who you want. You see, that's another thing that YouTube is doing and social media is denying us our ability to freely associate. Very interesting, folks. I really believe that YouTube should be considered the public marketplace and the public square. And I think these special permissions that YouTube has should be taken from them, that they should be broken up, just as AT&T was broken up and took the power away from them. Well, let's do this. I think we've had enough of me. I want to hear what you guys are thinking about. What's on your mind for today? Ooh, man, let's get into it if we can. Who do you want to put up there first, man? We've got, well, Ooh, man will step up first. That's the way to do it. He says everyone should bookmark www.theRsyndicate.com as well. So you'll find us if we disappear from the Prepared Mind. And you need to bookmark the preparedmind.club because that is where you can always go, to find out where I'm at, because that is our website. The only guarantee that we don't have is that our server won't be attacked and destroyed. It won't be attacked with virus. It won't be attacked with cyber attack, DDoS, all of those various infiltrations, etc. Wouldn't surprise me. But I do recommend the rsyndicate.com. That is you, man. I appreciate it, dude. Oh, thumbs up this video. If you got the ability, thumbs up. Let YouTube know. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Everything's fine. Okay, let's do another question, Mr. Uman. Next, we have Cyber Hana. She says, we had a recycle place blow up in flames today in Richmond, Indiana. 2,211 people were evacuated. Winds are now bringing it, I guess the smoke, to Ohio, but the winds could change. We've got all kinds of problems. Today we are discussing, let's see, other big fires and these industrial powerhouse cities of the Midwest and the upper Midwest, from Ohio running into Indiana and Illinois and Michigan, all up around the Great Lakes. They're ghost towns of industry because industry has moved out and moved to other countries. And these factories and buildings are derelict. They're falling down. They're burning down. They're blowing up. This country is in big, big trouble, folks. Right? We're in big, big trouble. And it's not going to get a whole lot better. Not for a long time. China is doing everything they can to destroy our country right here, America. They're doing all that they can. And they're getting away with it. And right now, I could say that we're living in what I would characterize it as we're living in the dying phases of the American empire. We had cities of industry, and they've been reduced to a few warehouses and minor manufacturing. We used to be the powerhouse of food production. We're seeing that in some decline. Like the rest of the world has taken up the challenge, which is great for the rest of the world, but for this country, it's an ugly series of events that we're witnessing. And people like Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama and the Clintons and Chuck Schumer and the bureaucracy, the bureaucrats like Chris Wray and Ruby Rod Rosenstein and Merrick Garland, and the military bureaucracy like the Joint Chiefs of Staff. They think that they can sit back and allow or actually cause all this to happen, and there's no consequences. What I'm going to say is there are always consequences. There's no way around it. It's just right now the consequences haven't happened. When we have to pay the fiddler, pay the piper, when the bill comes and we have to pay it, are you going to be ready? You see, the problem is if everyone were prepping, things would be fine. If everyone were truly America-loving and Americans, we'd all be fine. But it's all the people out there who aren't prepared that are going to make trouble for you, trouble for us, and trouble for the country if they don't have the means and the ability to care for themselves in a serious event. And serious events are coming. I believe it was Orlando. No, it wasn't Orlando. Someone sent me a video that was released by the Marine Corps 6 months ago. And 1 second there, man, leave that up. Asking me to take a look at a Marine Corps promotional video. And it showed us, fighting a war in different places. Now, I know the Marines, of course, want to talk about stuff, but, war type things. But it's quite alarming that this seems to be the only thing our country makes, and that is weapons of war. Now, Survival Readiness asked this. Yep, here it is. Have you seen the new Marines recruitment video? There are scenes where the Marines use EMP weapons for bringing down drones. He says EMP scenes, birds transforming into drones, pulse weapons, earth-shifting natural disasters, and aliens. Thoughts? My thoughts are that they want us prepared not to get through it, but they would like us prepared for anything. I'm going to go with the Marines put this out to show the world that, yeah, the fight could be anywhere at any time with anything, from drones to natural, if you want to call it war, natural events, or man-made, man-enhanced natural events. Aliens? Well, if there's going to be anyone I want fighting aliens, it's the Marines. But this is what they want us to do. They want us to be in a condition of expectant fear. And maybe you could say that's what I'm doing. I want people to be aware. And if that takes a little bit of fear, then I guess that's what they see in it. I want to approach a problem not with fear, but with readiness. Not with trepidation, but with anticipation of getting through it. That's how I approach things, folks. Every fucking day. From the time I get up and do 0 Dark 30, deal with an entire day load of work. and then coming here and doing some more of this, reading into the evening, and then passing out from exhaustion just to repeat it all over again. Get prepared. There's more of this coming. My thoughts are that the Marines are still Marines. It's just the question I have is whether the recruits they're bringing through are pro-American or a bunch of communists. In a couple of months, I'm going to attend a Marine Corps graduation ceremony. I'll be traveling to either MCRD San Diego or MCRD Paris Island to attend the graduation of someone I know who wants to become a Marine. And I think I'll be asking some questions if I can get myself in front of a drill instructor who's willing to talk to me. It'll be interesting, folks. It'll be interesting. Marines are Marines. I just wonder what they are, once you get past the green coating. Are they truly Americans? And I've been told they are. I've been told that Marines want to destroy the enemy and fight. It's just when they're told that person in front of you is the enemy, I hope they're not talking about me and you, but rather talking about enemies of the country, real enemies. Going to be some interesting times. I hope you're prepared. Uman, where do we want to roll next? We're going to roll over to Who's Your Daddy? Who's Your Life? He says, Grady Judd's officers shot a cop killer 62 times. Now, let me tell you who Grady Judd is. Down in Florida, right in the smack dab center of Florida, is Polk County, P-O-L-K. Polk County is where Grady Judd is sheriff. And folks, Florida has a shit pile of hard-ass sheriffs. Grady Judd just happens to be one of the ones that gets the most media. Right? He's the one that said, if Antifa or BLM come through your door, you are authorized to blow them back through the door with your gun. That's the Grady Judd. Sheriff, not sheriff's deputy, sheriff. His sheriff's deputies, Who's Your Life called them officers, so I call them police officers. They are deputized peace officers. They shot a cop killer. That is to say, someone who killed a police or sheriff's deputy, shot him 62 times. And when asked why they shot the murderous person 62 times, he said it was because they ran out of bullets. I find that freaking fascinating. They ran out of bullets. When you, my friends, are faced with life and death, do not shoot the same person 62 times. Make sure the enemy is, shall we say, permanently incapacitated, but do not waste 62 rounds of ammo on any one person, because you're going to need that ammunition for all of the other zombies behind them. That's right. In real life, it's not a video game where you have unlimited ammunition. And you don't just run down the street and find ammunition in a bush or next to a rock, and it's not all colorful and lit up like in the kids' video games. They think they just run around and there's more ammo. It used to be hard to find. So anyways, love the Grady Judd. I've actually driven into Polk County, and I thought, holy crap, I will not speed in this county. I do not want to meet Grady Judd or his deputies the hard way. Anyways, thank you, Hoosier, very much for that. And that's the way it should be. If someone's a criminal, they're an outlaw, and they need to be dealt with in a handy fashion. Let us move on if we shall. Hey, it's Michael Brown. What's up there, brother? He says, John, with government officials openly accepting money from Sorg Goros. Thanks for that, man. Sorg Goros. Yeah, George Sorg Goros. He says, with government officials openly accepting money, that would be like all of the district attorneys that are accepting his money and using it in their campaigns to win office. It's illegal in 3 ways. And have you heard of the Jesuits? Yes, I have. Number 1, let's start with the George Soros stuff, Michael. He has realized, and he realized this years ago, that he needs to get people at the local level, not at the state or the federal or the international level. He needs to transform America, destroy it at the grassroots, right? Kill it at the roots so the whole system dies, the whole tree. And so how does he control law enforcement? He helps get, right, sheriffs elected. He helps get chief of police appointed. He helps city councils, and he helps district attorneys get elected. And then his policies, folks, get carried out on the local level across the country. That's why we have all of these government officials, as Michael has phrased them. I think that they might be government scumbags, but Mike's really a nice guy, actually. If you ever get a chance to talk to or meet Mike, you're going to have a good time. Anyways, they're openly accepting money from him, and they're openly carrying out his policy, folks. Crazy. And then the second part of Michael's question. Have you heard of the Jesuits? Jesuits are a sect of the Catholics. Kind of like there's the Benedictines, there's the Franciscans. These are different priest groups. There's the Jesuits. And I believe they were started by Thomas Aquinas hundreds of years ago. And the Jesuits are kind of the shock troops in an intellectual manner of speaking. That they were brought out to deal with the Lutheran movement when Martin Luther nailed his thesis to the church door, basically saying the Catholic Church is all screwed up. They got some problems, right? They sent the Jesuits out to debate the Lutheran movement, to try and convince all the masses not to leave Catholicism for the upstart Protestant movement. But that was the kind of the genesis of the Jesuit priesthood. And since then, they've taken some rather odd turns. If you want to read about them in a way, shouldn't you hear from the Jesuits about, or shouldn't you hear about the Jesuits from someone who is a Jesuit? So you might want to read Malachi Martin, M-A-L-A-C-H-I, Martin, M-A-R-T-I-N. Malachi Martin has written several books. He was an exorcist, and he wrote a very scary book about exorcism. He was also into political science and geopolitics and religiopolitics as a Jesuit priest. And trust me, he's not happy, or he's not a communist. So the Jesuits use their ability to speak, reason, argue for something. They use that to convert their parishes into communism in South America and Central America. And that's why there are so many communist nations down there, because of the work, if we want to call it the work. I would call it rather the transformative, how do I want to phrase this? I want to be nice about it, because I don't want to be a bad guy. Oh my gosh. When your priest tells you something, you accept the priest as a recognized authority figure, and you give what they say a lot of credibility. So when your priest, who happens to be a Jesuit, and you're part of a strong ethno-religious culture like the Latin cultures of South America, then the indoctrination that precedes isn't really understood, but it's an indoctrination nonetheless. And so the Jesuits introduced communism into South and Central America, and oh yes, also in Cuba, And to this day, they are fighting with communists in South America. They try and take over countries through the election systems, just like they have recently taken over Brazil. I wonder if Brazil is going to learn that they need to adopt the Chinese model, which is communist control of the government, but fascist socialist systems to control business, because it's a better economic system than pure communism. And it's all the same thing, though, folks. Karl Marx used communism and socialism interchangeably. And the concept of fascism is just a one-off of Karl Marx's work. Essentially, it was a way, well, fascism, folks, comes from the Roman Empire, who had their version of fascism. Karl Marx didn't like that. So his version of socialism took control of everything from corporate power, the rich people, and he handed it all to the government 100%, supposedly to help the people. Show me a communist country where the people are in good shape. Well, it's just not going to happen. Not going to happen. All right, Uman, do we have some more hanging out? Yes, we do. Let's see. Sending you a message. Okay, James Nicholson says, "Evening, John. Do you know if the flyover states are fucked up being woke or fed up being woke?" The answer is yes. They are very fed up. They're tired of the fucked up people. In fact, folks, huge swaths of California, huge swaths of Illinois, and everywhere north of New York City, they're fed up. Fucked up, fed up, tired of the woke bullshit. Even a lot of Democrats are tired of it. They see what it's doing. It's destroying America. And it's destroying it so badly and so quickly that there are Democrats, that's right, who are leaving the Democrat Party. They are changing political party affiliation. Now, when I read about that, I thought, that's great. All we need is more left-leaning, socialist-minded Republicans, aka rhinos, Republicans in name only. But they're so disgusted with the woke. It has gone so far to the side of lunacy. The trans, woke, LGBT crapola is so far gone that it makes no sense to a huge percentage of the Democrats. I don't want them in our party, folks. If you want to be a Republican, then you have to love America and the Constitution. You have to love freedom and every amendment that is stated. The First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth, Sixth, Seventh, Eighth, Ninth, Tenth, etc. All of the Bill of Rights and everything after the Bill of Rights, folks, I find some question in. I'm not a huge fan of the 14th Amendment, even though the 14th Amendment was necessary at the time because the maturity level of the government wasn't quite where it needed to be with regard to slavery. The 16th Amendment is a sham from the beginning. That's your income taxes and bullshit. But here we are, folks. This is the world we've inherited. You can learn all about the 14th and 16th Amendments. You can learn all about women's suffrage. And I think we've all grown past that stuff. But you're not going to change the fact that the government thinks it owns you and that you owe it, right, a tribute on a regular basis to pay for your existence. Today is the 12th of April. In 3 days, folks, guess what? You will owe a shit pile of money to the government. You could be on the installment plan where you pay out on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, or you could pay at the end of the year. I don't know what plan you're on, but I'm on the get fucked plan. You know, but this is the entire problem with big government, right? In San Francisco, they're getting it worse than other areas, just like Chicago. And they want to have the Democrat National Convention in Chicago. In 1968, it resulted in riots. San Francisco is a shithole, folks. And their board members, city board members, are screaming and yelling and whining and bitching because they need more police. Well, after they defunded the police, they're saying people are getting beat up, people are dying. I'm going to add to that. If we could just save one life, aren't we supposed to do everything we can to save just one life? Well, San Francisco is full of drug addicts, mentally deranged people, including those who have jobs, drug addicts, mentally deranged people, and basically just scumbags. And they've encouraged it. They've allowed it. They encourage it. They've allowed it. And they promoted it, and now they're paying for it. And they don't like it. Well, too bad. Ooh, man, what else do we have? Mr. X says, John, we need to boycott all the woke companies and go to the school board meetings and start standing up together. 100% agree with you, Mr. X. I boycott all woke corporations. The moment I find out any company like Budweiser, I don't have any Budweiser products anywhere in the Prepared Mind bunker. They can fuck off. I don't buy sporting goods from Dick's. I won't do it. I don't eat fast food junk because it's fast food junk made from likely bug parts and toxic sludge and synthetic man-made protein that they're going to call meat. I won't do it. Not going to do it. Wouldn't be prudent. No siree. Here we are, though. Ooh, man, are we all wrapped up for the day? The answer is no. We've got Charles Gentry stepping up. He says, if you can hunker down for 90 to 100 days, most Americans will be done for. The people coming across the border are the ones who know how to live without things like electricity and clean water. Yeah, that's the point of being a prepper, is not to go out there like Rambo, but to be able to kind of hunker down, protect yourselves from people trying to infiltrate and take what you have. But essentially being, how do we say this, out of the limelight. It is people who don't have food for 90 to 180 days. It is people who don't have the ability to have clean water. You get dirty water, you get sick, you get sick, you get weak, you get weak, you get scared, you get scared, you become violent in response to life's threats. Right? So keeping and laying low in SHTF, whether you bunker in or bug out, the objective is to avoid conflict and minimize exposure to the zombies that are going to be out there. Very good. And people coming across the border, they'll turn around and go right back as soon as it's worse here than down there. All righty, let's do a couple more quickies if we can. Mr. Ooh Man, Heidi, and one more thing, folks. They're killing the Prepared Mind on YouTube, but we will always be on, well, we want to always be on the preparedmind.club and Subscribestar until Subscribestar kills the Prepared Mind and until they destroy the servers through various cyber attacks at the preparedmind.club. If the club disappears, folks, it's because either it's not being supported by you guys or it's because it's been attacked through cyber attacks. And so far, you guys have been supporting it as well as can be expected considering the way the world is. So Heidi says, did anyone else see the news story about the 5-year-old who collapsed and his teacher thought he was fooling? So she left him to lay there for a while before she realized he was sick. Actually, he was dead. That is a horrifying story, Heidi. But that's how these people are. There's a teacher down in Florida was allowing girls in her class to have like a fight club type thing, vicious fighting in her classroom. I like to talk about the South and states like Florida as being safe havens for conservative thinking, for traditional thinking, for people who are moral. Well, there's plenty of areas, even in Florida, even in Texas, even in Mississippi, even in Louisiana, even in Tennessee, where the schools are run by fruitcakes and ho-hos and ding-dongs and dipshits. They're still there. All right, I think we got one more, Mr. Ooman. And he says, that's all for today. That's all, folks. I want to thank you. Remember, subscribe at the preparedmind.club. That is the safest of safe places. Subscribe Star or preparedmind.club, $2 either way. That keeps us on the air. We'll find ways to get the videos posted there. I'm going to fight to stay on YouTube because it has the most exposure. And that exposure results in more Americans waking up and having 90 days worth of food so that if shit goes bad, they're not banging on your door and threatening you because they're not scared. See, that's the idea with prepping, is to not be a fear porn specialist, but to not be afraid. To not be afraid. So that you aren't afraid of other people because of their gender or their race or their age or their belief systems. You see, if we're all well cared for, caring for ourselves, then there's no reason to fear one another. But it's the fear of the left, in my opinion, that causes them to want to attack us. It causes them to hate us. And if you look at what they're doing, that's precisely what it is. There is a hatred and a fear for us because they know that they are immoral, bad people. They fear being exposed and they want to silence us. That is why they hate us and want to attack children and churches and good, decent people everywhere. Get prepared, folks. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and your plan. And YouTube, I can't wait to see what people do to your headquarters and your servers. And same with Twitter. And same with Instagram, and same with Facebook, and same with Meta, and same with Zark Zuckerberg. I can't wait to see what people do with your systems after they get tired of having you destroy us. All right, I'm going to leave you with this, and then I'll see you, if at all possible, 0 dark 30. Until then, folks, chance favors the prepared mind. Aren't you glad you're a prepper? Semper Fi. Godspeed.
Consider this your trigger warning. The following program is strictly satire and is not meant to be taken seriously. So don't get all butthurt, you liberal snowflakes, just because we skewer your sacred cows and expose all your lies and hypocrisy. Truth hurts, and so does satire. So grab a drink, pull up a chair, and enjoy the show.